You want some music, Susan?
No.
Why did I hire these guys tonight?
Because they're wonderful for everyone else but me, Mark. All right. Those of you that know me, usually I read something pretty bleak or witchy or bizarre. And listy is my favorite thing because that's what I do when I don't know what to write. I make a list of something. So you're getting all of that tonight. And this is index for a future lost book. And the only thing you need to know is what a ghost apple is. A ghost apple is an apple that's still on the tree, and there's a horrible winter storm, and it ices over. The apple rots inside, and all that's left is this beautiful crystal-looking apple. All right. Index page for a future lost book. My poem that relentlessly wanders the trails and pathways of despair. My poem that writes itself in the forest of words, undergrowth teeming with verbs that slash like swords. My poem of syntactical dalliances and relentless rhythmic repetitions. My poem compressed to a life of poetry and high-octane coffee. That poem that Sin and I wrote of the same heart-shaped cloud, but mine looked broken. My poem that speaks as to the trees, do not fell this life. My poem that grows the prehensile tail that I've always wanted. My poetic testament to what can be built from twigs and thorns. My poem that just keeps versing and versing and versing. The poem that makes me look very, very, very thin. My poem that releases oxytocin and explodes to a coven of crows. My poem written to the tune of "And the beat goes on, and the beat goes on." You can tell how old I am from that, right? My poem, "Smoking Too Many Menthols, Breath Not Regrettably Tasting of Nicotine and Fire." My poem of Marc Smith, snarling at the mic at the Get Me High Lounge.
That's long ago.
My poem that I've danced for 1,000 years. My poem that stumbled into the raging volta of somebody else's sonnet. My poem that drunk rants in iambic heart meter with the courage of Edgar Allan Poe. His favorite drink, by the way, was a boozy family recipe of eggnog with brandy and whiskey. My poem that, when recited loudly, brings rain. My poem that fought, clawed, slashed, scratched me every word of the way. My poem that unknowingly, unwittingly became a spell. My poem that will just not shut up, that louds itself. My poem that leaves behind the kiss that stings. My poem that offers more metaphor than a good poet would ever want. My poem that chugs Boone's Farm apple wine behind the VFW hall like when I was 13. My poem of dark weeds and cloven woods where the river at night is a rippling witch's black skirt. My poem that tastes of damp stone and moss. My poem of foreboding. Roses promiscuously tangling with brambles. My poem that cannot stop a bullet, cannot diffuse a bomb. My poem that died on the page. That poem that speaks in strange alphabets and cryptic coding, a Sylvia Plath line tattooed on her labia. My poem that tells my dead lovers to shut the fuck up. My poem that lays itself down by the river and gives itself back to the earth. My poem that chants aggressive abracadabras. My poem that wears a pleated plastic rain hat like we did in the 1960s so our hair wouldn't frizz. My poem, wandering the night woods with a candelabra like a lost Victorian, corseted and consumption riddled. A poem as quiet as the house of a witch that just stopped her chanting. My poem that dreams the same dream over and over and over again. My poem that levitates above my bed holding a ghost apple. My poem that comforts the dead. Thank you.
Susan, thanks, everyone.